My guest today is Drahlynn Ivee, a real estate agent with Century 21 Home Brokers right here in Billings. Drahlynn works across the entire market from starter homes to new construction, and she's especially plugged into the new build scene out in the West End and in the Heights. Drahlynn Ivee, welcome to Your Home Billings.
Thank you for having me today, Mark.
Of course.
Super excited to be here.
So, Drahlynn, let's get right into it. How did you get into real estate?
I always knew I was put on this earth to just serve others and add value into people's lives. So I'm really happy I found a career that I just love doing. I always kind of thought I'd go into the medical field because just like I said, I always just wanted to help people and add value in lives. But I'm just really happy with real estate, and I just can't imagine doing anything else.
That's awesome. So what really keeps you in it?
It takes a special kind of person to be able to do what we do. I would say I just love that it's something new every single day. Sometimes you'll think it's going to be the slowest day of the week, and it turns out to be your busiest. And it's just a lot of fun. I thrive in chaos, and I just do really well, and I'm just really proud of it.
That's really good to be able to thrive in chaos. That's not something a lot of people can handle.
Yeah, I really think the way I grew up has a lot to do with that, but it's really helped me out in the long run. And I think when you're just getting hit with stuff constantly, I can just slow down, see it for what it is, don't freak out. And that's just what I mean is this industry really isn't for everybody. And it just takes a really special kind of person to be able to thrive in this kind of environment.
That's true. That goes for a lot of realtors. With everyone I spoke to, they all have a similar personality traits.
Yeah.
So let's delve into new construction versus existing homes, right? What's the difference between the process of the two?
Well, the process with new construction is obviously very different. In some cases, buying new construction can be a lot easier. It's a lot more graceful with inspection dates and periods. You don't have to worry too much about when was the roof replaced, and it's because you're buying it new. You don't need to worry about the HVAC system. We have an inspector that comes and make sure everything's up to code. So the process of buying an existing home can be much longer than buying a...
Really?
Well, it just depends on if this new construction house is already built or if you're planning on building your own customized. That's a kind of different ballgame, but...
Oh, I see. Okay. So let's say that there's a buyer who's looking to buy a home. He doesn't know if he should buy a new construction or if they should buy an existing home. How do you help them decide that?
See, that just really depends on where that person is at in their time of life. Sometimes you'll see empty nesters that are downsizing and don't want stairs. I see that's mostly who I work with,
Right.
I would say. But then on the other hand, there might be a 20, 30-year-old that's looking to grow their family and they don't really have enough skin in the game. So they will buy an existing home and just kind of start building equity from there and get to
True.
where they need to be. Yeah. It just depends on where you're at in your time of life. I've seen it all though.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
From every
Some people
demographic.
just want brand new and don't want a house that's been lived in, and that's fine too. It just really depends on what you want and what you need.
So, Drahlynn, if someone's about to sign a contract on a new build, what's something you wish that they knew?
I guess that's not a problem I typically run into, especially with the builder I work with, Bob Pentecost. He's been in the business for about 30 years, so his process is down to a science. But before anything is ever signed, the buyer knows the sales price of the home. They've made their selections, they've picked their finishes, and if all is good, then we move forward, we sign the contracts, and Bob stands behind the number that is presented to you in the very beginning. So there's just no surprises at the end.
Wow, that's awesome to have such a valuable, I guess you could say, asset in your pocket, right?
Yeah, totally. I guess I don't know how other builders work, but I would really hope it's the same way.
Right.
Yeah, and if it's not, then I would probably run.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fair enough,
Yeah.
right? So I kind of want to delve into the timeline that it kind of takes whether you're buying a new construction, specifically new construction, but new construction or an existing home, right?
So if it's an existing home, contract periods are typically about 45 days. I mean, if everybody's on board, you can speed that process up, but it can get a little crazy, but it's doable. But typically 45 days on an existing home from putting the first offer in to close. But if you're building a new house, if you are building a master plan that a builder has built time and time again, and you're not making customizations, you can typically see them go up in like 4 months. It's pretty fast.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
So let's say there are a lot of customizations.
yeah. See, and that just depends. Like we see that all the time too. People will go back and forth on what they want. They will change plans, and that's perfectly okay too, because this is a really important process and it's an important deal. And we definitely want our buyers to be getting exactly what they want and what they're paying for. So it's sometimes it can be a process, but yeah, you go at your own speed. That's how it should be.
Have you ever seen a father and mother kind of bicker back and forth between what they want?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pretty common, huh?
Yeah, you just go out and stand in the front yard and let them put the gloves on.
All right, before we wrap up, keep an eye on the screen and look for that giveaway code that's going to pop up right here. Make sure to enter it into yourhomemontana.com/giveaway and enter it for the prize. Drahlynn, you've sold something from a $40,000 home up to $1 million home. That's a huge range. How do you know if someone's getting a fair price on that?
There are systems in place to protect you as the buyer. The most obvious would be the appraisal. The appraisal is when a independent third party comes in and they determine the value of the home based on usually comparable sales in the area. But yeah, that's probably the best way to protect you as a buyer and know that you're paying for the value of the home.
That makes sense. So, Drahlynn, let's talk about the home price, because I'm curious now, if there's $1 million home in a $250,000 neighborhood, how is it supposed to impact that price?
See, and that's kind of an issue us as realtors sometimes run into is there's a home that is so custom and there's just really nothing too comparable to it in the neighborhood. And yeah, sometimes we kind of have to come together and figure out where should we price this thing. Realtors that are very seasoned, realtors that have been in the business 30, 40 years, I've heard them say, like my own mentors, I'm not sure where to price this at.
Wow.
Because, yeah, there's just no comparable sales in the area. And also, as a realtor, you don't want to make your own market. So, because just like I said earlier, is if that appraisal doesn't come in, if that appraiser doesn't see the value in that home, then
Interesting.
it can get ugly.
So if I were to, I'm kind of a DIY guy. If I spent a ton of money upgrading and improving the house, it may not actually even be beneficial.
See, and that's also, I shouldn't just say it's just comparable sales in the area, because a good appraiser will take in those upgrades into consideration for sure, for surely.
Now, I want to delve into this a little bit further. I personally moved into an older home. Has a lot of add-ons, a lot of miscellaneous pieces. It's kind of like a Lego house, you know? So I'm curious, is that going to impact the price because of all the add-ons that they have?
Totally. Yeah, if you're improving the right things that other buyers will come in and care about, then yeah. Sometimes you can put your money into something that people just don't really see the value in.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes a really hard conversation to have with a seller is that the value is just not here. And it's a really personal conversation sometimes because this is a house they've lived in for how many ever years, you know,
Yeah.
and they take it personal.
I mean, especially if they built it themselves, right?
Oh, yeah. My builder especially, he really takes pride in what he does, and he knows he does a good job. And
So there's lots of new construction from the Heights all the way down to the West End, and you've taken care of houses in that entire area. What's driving the growth in those two areas?
oh, man, the West End is growing so rapidly for a numerous amount of reasons. It's a very sought-after area. But with the Heights, I kind of think the expansion out towards that way has been a lot more surprising for people. And it's not as known because it's just kind of tucked away. But I really think what's driving the growth, especially in the new High Sierra subdivision up in that area, is the Skyway Drive road that's been put in that connects the West End to the Heights. What is it, like a 20-minute drive on
Yep.
that road? It's
Yep.
just opened it up so much. It really has. And I am so excited to be in a career that I'm just in the know and hearing about all the growth that's planned to happen and all the projects
Yep.
that are projected to happen. it's just so cool. It's just history in the making, and it's just so cool to be a part of it. It's awesome.
What should buyers know between those two areas?
I guess what I'd want them to know is that there's still very beautiful houses. I am a sucker for a mid-century modern home. I absolutely love them. Yeah, and I think a lot, like there's a huge pool of buyers that are also in that same mindset. They just love a little bit of character and just a mid-century modern home, you know?
Yeah. The Victorian. I would
Yes.
love to go into a Victorian house.
Yes.
Find that solid hardwood underneath all the layers
Oh
of
my gosh,
vinyl.
I know.
Yep.
I know. See? Yeah. Yeah, there's a market for everybody.
So, Drahlynn, obviously you work with a lot of new constructions. Now, I'm curious, should a buyer always use the builder's recommended lender, or should they shop around and find someone that they trust and know?
I always advise my clients to shop around and compare for sure. Lending is a very competitive industry. It's almost like the industry I'm in, right? That being said, there is benefits to using especially my builder's lender. When he goes in, he gets a construction loan and he has an origination fee up front, you know, so he pays that origination fee. So if a buyer were to use his lender and go to his lender, since he already paid that origination fee, they just take it off the top. So if you are paying $500,000 for a house, that origination fee is 1% of the loan. So you're saving $5,000 right up front.
Oh.
So that's really hard to compete with. But that being said, I have seen a numerous amount of times, because lending is a very competitive industry, some lenders will waive their origination fees as well and match that to keep you as a client.
Wow.
So definitely shop around and see what's out there, because you would be very surprised.
So, Drahlynn, there's a lot of people out there who are like, realtors are a scam, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to work with a realtor. They think that they can do it on themselves. Why should they work with a realtor?
See, this might sound a little silly, but a post I've been seeing on social media is you can buy property without an agent. You can also buy sushi at a gas station.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend either. But no, seriously, all jokes aside, buying property without having the right representation is almost like driving at night with no headlights on, right? You just do not know the wreck you are about to crash into. And it takes a qualified professional, as in myself, to be able to navigate that and see the issues that are coming, you know, before they happen. And my favorite thing I'll hear after a deal gets done is, oh, that was probably the easiest X amount of money you've ever made, right? And I'm so glad you think that. I am so glad you think that. That means that the problems that are on the table that I handled were never presented to you. And if I can take an ounce of stress and that weight off your back, that is why you hired me. So I would definitely suggest to always use an agent and have the right representation.
Okay, Drahlynn, if someone's looking to buy or sell a home, whether it be a new build or an existing home, how can they reach you?
Give me a call or text. My number is 406-969-8959.